There's a moment in everyone's life when you stop and say, if only I'd known this sooner. If only I had known how powerful I really was. If only I'd known that fear was lying to me. If only I had known that every failure was actually the path forward.
If only I had known that waiting for the right time was just another way of saying never. See, the truth is most people spend their lives waiting for the right moment, the right feeling, the right opportunity. But the right time doesn't come to you, you create it. You don't find clarity sitting still. You find it by moving. You don't find strength and comfort, you build it through pain. You don't find purpose and perfection. You discover it through the mess. I wish I knew sooner that my past wasn't my prison. It was my training ground. Every rejection, every heartbreak, every so-called failure was just life preparing me for something bigger. I didn't see it saw loss. I saw pain. I saw doors closing. I thought life was breaking me, but it was building me. You see, the problem isn't that we fall. It's that we forget what falling is for. Falling is how we learn to rise. Struggle is how we find strength. Pain is how we remember what matters.
The challenge you're facing right now isn't meant to destroy you. It's meant to wake you up. I wish I knew sooner that success isn't about doing more. It's about being more present, being more courageous, being more intentional. We chase achievement like it's oxygen.
But what we're really craving is alignment, the feeling that our life actually means something. I wish I knew sooner that happiness isn't found in things it's created through growth. You can have everything, money, status, attention, and still feel empty if you're not growing, if you're not giving.
Growth and contribution. Those are the real currencies of life. And I wish I knew sooner that love, real love, doesn't come when you're perfect. It comes when you're authentic, when you stop pretending, stop performing, and start showing up as you. The world doesn't need your mask. It needs your truth.
So hear me now. Stop waiting for someday. Stop waiting for confidence, for clarity, for the stars to align. You're ready now. Lessons you've lived through weren't mistakes. They were messages. Every scar, every tear, every late night doubt. They've all been leading you here. I wish I knew this sooner. I wish I had done something about it. Because the truth is, it's never too late to begin again. Start messy. Start afraid. But start, because one day when you look back, you'll say, that's the moment you stop wishing and start living. Pain has a way of showing up uninvited. It hits you when you least expect it. In the heartbreak you didn't see coming, in the dream that fell apart, in the failure that left you questioning your worth. Most people never realize that pain isn't punishment, it's preparation. Every ounce of struggle you faced wasn't there to destroy you. It was there to develop you. The universe doesn't test your strength, it reveals it. And that revelation often comes wrapped in discomfort. When we're in pain, our instinct is to resist. We try to escape, numb it, or pretend it's not there. But every time you run from pain, you also run from growth. Pain is a signal. It's life's way of saying, there's something here for you to learn. You see, we don't evolve in comfort. Comfort protects us. Pain transforms us. It forces us to look deeper, to shed the layers that no longer serve us. Without it, we stay stagnant, living half lives, avoiding anything that could challenge our limits. If you look back, the moments that shaped you weren't the easy ones. They were the moments that hurt, the ones that made you doubt, cry, or break. Yet somehow, you made it. When you came out the other side, you weren't the same. You were stronger, wiser, more grounded. That's the hidden gift of pain. It carves strength into your character. It teaches you resilience that comfort never could. It strips away ego, pride, and illusions until only truth remains. Here's the catch. Pain only builds you if you let it. Most people get stuck because they assign the wrong meaning to their suffering. They see pain as the end of their story, not the beginning of a better one. Meaning is what turns pain into power. When you decide that your struggles are working for you, not against you, everything changes. Suddenly, that heartbreak becomes the reason you learn self-worth. That failure becomes the lesson that sharpens your focus. That betrayal becomes the spark that teaches you how to trust yourself again. Growth is rarely gentle, doesn't whisper. It roars, it shakes your foundations so you can rebuild them stronger. But here's the truth. It doesn't hand pain to the weak, it hands it to those meant to rise. The very fact that you've endured what you have means there's something within you. A strength, a purpose, a power that was waiting to be activated. Pain isn't the enemy. It's the doorway to your next level. Start seeing pain not as suffering, but as sculpting. You take back control. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? And that shift, that single shift changes everything. Because from that moment on, you're no longer a victim of your pain. You're a student of it. And every lesson learned brings you one step closer to the person you were always meant to become. Fear is the most convincing liar you ever meet. It speaks in your own voice, using your own thoughts, whispering limitations so softly you start to believe them. It tells you that you're not ready, not talented enough, not worthy of more. It convinces you that safety is wisdom and risk is danger. But the truth is, fear's only real power is the power you give it. It doesn't chain you, it tricks you into holding the lock. Every dream that died, every goal that never left the notebook was buried under one thing: fear disguised as logic. The crazy part is fear isn't always loud. Sometimes hesitation is self-doubt of maybe later. It hides behind excuses that sound responsible. No's not the right time. I'll start when I have more money. I'll try when I'm more confident. Those words feel rational, but they're lies. Your right time. There's only now. Now is all you'll ever have. Fear keeps you waiting for a perfect moment that doesn't exist. And every day you wait, the dream fades a little more. Fear's job is to protect you from pain. But what it really does is protect you from growth. It's your mind's outdated alarm system. It can't tell the difference between physical danger and emotional risk. The same mechanism that once kept you safe from predators now keeps you safe from possibility. You fear rejection, so you avoid love. You fear failure, so you never try. You fear judgment, so you stay invisible. Fear keeps you from pain. It also keeps you from joy, purpose, and fulfillment. But here's the truth.
Fear isn't the enemy, it's just energy. It's your body's signal that you're stepping outside the familiar. And that's a good thing, because nothing new ever happens inside your comfort zone. It grows and begin until fear shows up. The key isn't to eliminate fear, it's to move with it. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's taking action in spite of it. Every time you step forward while afraid, fear loses its grip. Each step builds confidence, and confidence becomes your new baseline. You can't think your way out of fear. You have to act your way out. Action rewires your mind. It teaches your brain that the thing you're afraid of wasn't as dangerous as it seemed. Every bold move you make chips away at fear's illusion. Eventually, you realize it was never a monster, just a shadow, and shadows vanish when you face them with light. You're waiting to feel ready, you'll wait forever. Readiness doesn't come before action, it comes because of it. Every person who's achieved something extraordinary started scared, unsure, and imperfect. They just didn't let fear make their decisions. And that's the difference between those who live fully and those who merely exist. So the next time fear whispers, you can't smile and move anyway, because on the other side of that fear is everything you've ever wanted. And when you get there, you'll look back and realize fear was never the wall. It was just the door you were too afraid to open. Most people spend their entire lives waiting for the right time, the right feeling, the right plan, the right sign from the universe. They convince themselves that one day when everything aligns perfectly, then they'll finally start. But that one day almost never comes. Because the truth is, the right time doesn't exist. It's something you create. Every day you wait for perfect conditions. You trade action for illusion. You convince yourself that you're being smart when in reality you're being scared. The illusion of someday is the most dangerous comfort zone there is. It feels safe because it keeps you busy thinking instead of doing. You tell yourself you're preparing, but preparation without execution is procrastination in disguise. Life doesn't reward those who wait, it rewards those who move. You can't think your way into clarity, you have to act your way into it. Clarity comes from momentum. It's when you start doing that you discover what actually works, who you really are, and what truly matters. The people who succeed in life aren't the ones who had everything figured out. They're the ones who started messy, scared, and unprepared. But they started anyway. Every successful person has a story of uncertainty. They didn't know all the steps, they didn't have a perfect plan, but they took the first one, and that first step changed everything. Because action creates confidence. The more you move, the more you believe in yourself, the more you wait, the more fear grows roots. We've been conditioned to think we need to feel confident before we take action, but it's the opposite. Confidence doesn't create action. Action creates confidence. When you move, when you take risks, when you face discomfort, you teach your brain that you're capable. You build evidence that you can handle life. Every step forward, no matter how small, expands your courage. The right time is a myth because life will never hand you perfect conditions. There will always be uncertainty, obstacles, and reasons to hesitate. If you wait for those to disappear, you'll wait your whole life. The truth is what you call timing is often just fear disguised as logic. It wants to protect you from failure and bare rejection, so it tells you to wait. But that voice isn't your intuition, it's your limitation, momentum thing. Once you take action, even small action, life starts to respond. Opportunities appear, people show up, energy builds. But none of that happens while you're waiting. The world doesn't move for those who hesitate, it moves who hesitate. It moves for those who step forward with courage, even when their legs are shaking. So don't wait for the perfect moment. Use the moment you have and make it perfect through action. Every dream, every goal, transformation begins the same way, not with certainty, but with a decision to stop waiting and start moving. Because the truth is your breakthrough doesn't live in the future. It's hidden in the action you take today. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's the path that leads directly to it. We were taught that failure is something to avoid, something shameful. We were told that if we make mistakes, it means we're not good enough. But that belief has killed more dreams than failure ever will. The truth is, success doesn't happen in a straight line. It's a messy process filled with wrong turns, rejections, and false starts. Every person you admire has a graveyard of failures behind them, but they used each one as fuel, not a finish line. Failure is feedback. It's life's most honest teacher. It tells you what doesn't work so you can get closer to what does. When you fail, it's not the end, it's data. It's information about your approach, your time, and your mindset. The problem is most people take failure personally. They think it means they failed when in reality it just means their strategy failed. And strategies can change. You can always adapt, adjust, and evolve. But when you quit, you end the story before the lesson is learned. Every great innovator, artist, or leader has walked through the fire of failure. Thomas Edison didn't find success with the light bulb because he avoided failure. He succeeded because he failed over 1,000 times and kept going. Each mistake brought him closer to the answer. That's the mindset of greatness, not how do I avoid falling, but how fast can I get back up. Resilience, not perfection, is what separates the dreamers from the doers. The truth is, failure builds character in a way that success never can. Success can make you proud, failure makes you real. It strips away your excuses, illusions. It shows you what you're really made of. You can't build strength and comfort. You build it when you fall flat, question yourself, and still find a reason to get up. Each failure teaches you humility, patience, and perseverance. Qualities no victory can give you. What's powerful about failure is that it also tests your desire. Everyone wants to win, but not everyone wants to endure what winning requires. Failure asks you, how badly do you want this? If you give up easily, the answer is clear. But if you keep moving, if you use the pain as purpose, that's when life starts to open doors. The universe rewards persistence. Every setback is a sign if you keep going long enough to see it. You can't control whether you fail, but you can always control your response. You can choose to see failure as defeat, or you can see it as refinement. Every stumble, every rejection, chiseling you into the person capable of handling success when it arrives, because success without struggle is fragile. It breaks easily, but success built on failure is unshakable. So stop fearing failure. Fear standing still. Fear not trying, because failure isn't the end of your story. It's the rough draft of your greatest chapter. The biggest reason most people never experience real transformation is because they're addicted not to progress, but to comfort. Comfort feels safe, predictable, familiar, tells you you're okay here. But that's the trap. Comfort is the silent killer of dreams. It doesn't destroy your life suddenly. It does it slowly, quietly, inch by inch. It convinces you to stay where you are, to take the easy path, to wait for the right time. And before you know it, years have passed and you're still in the same place, wondering why nothing changed. Every major breakthrough in life begins where comfort ends. Growth doesn't happen when everything feels good. It happens when things get uncomfortable. Think about it. The muscles in your body only grow when they're stretched and stressed beyond their limits. Your mind and spirit work the same way. If you want to become stronger, wiser, you have to step into places that make you uneasy. Because that discomfort you feel, that's the feeling of transformation and progress. The problem is our brains are wired for survival, not success. We're programmed to avoid pain, to seek safety. But that same instinct that protected us thousands of years ago is now the very thing holding us back. Comfort keeps you surviving. Discomfort makes you alive. When you choose comfort, you trade potential for predictability. You choose a life that's fine instead of one that's fulfilled. You settle for what's easy instead of reaching for what's extraordinary. You can't change your life without changing your environment, mentally, emotionally, physically. People you surround yourself with, the routines you cling to, the beliefs you repeat, all of these can either keep you stuck or push you forward. If you want to grow, you must constantly challenge your patterns. Do something that scares you. Speak up when you'd rather stay silent. Try something new even if you might fail. Because every time you step out of comfort, you expand your capacity to live fully.
There's a reason every great achiever, from athletes to entrepreneurs to artists, embraces discomfort. They understand it's the toll you pay for greatness. They don't run from the pain, they use it. They know that pain isn't punishment, it's progress.
That's why the people who grow the most are the ones willing to do what others won't. They show up when it's hard, they push through. When it's uncertain, they lean into the discomfort, not away from it. Comfort is seductive, but it's not satisfying. It gives you temporary ease, but long-term regret. Discomfort, on the other hand,
Might sting in the short term, but it gives you growth, confidence, and power in the long run. Every time you break through that barrier of comfort, you discover a new version of yourself, one that's stronger, braver, more capable. So if you want to change your life, stop chasing comfort and start chasing challenge, because your next level won't be found in what feels easy. It'll be found in what feels uncomfortable. That's where the real growth begins. The most liberating truth you can ever realize is that you are the one creating your reality, not your past, not your circumstances, not other people. The moment you take full ownership of your life, everything changes, because most people spend their lives pointing fingers, blaming their parents, their boss, the economy, their partner, the world. It's easier to say, I can't because of them, than to face the truth that the power has been in your hands all along. But here's the thing, as long as you blame, you give away your power. Responsibility isn't a burden, it's your freedom. It means you are no longer waiting for someone else to fix your life. You're stepping up to shape it yourself. When you take ownership, you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking. That one shift changes everything. Suddenly, every problem becomes a teacher. Every setback becomes feedback. You stop being a victim of circumstance and become a creator of opportunity. It doesn't mean life gets easier. It means you get stronger. Because once you accept that no one is coming to save you, you stop waiting and start doing. Responsibility is the foundation of true power. It's not about control. It's about responsibility, your ability to respond with intention rather than react with emotion. Life will always throw things at you that you can't control. Loss, rejection, failure. But you can always control how you respond. That's where your strength lies. Every reaction is a choice to grow or to give up, to learn or to blame. The moment you choose to respond consciously, you begin to rewrite your story. Think about the most successful people in the world. They're not the ones who never faced hardship. They're the ones who refused to stay stuck in it. They took ownership. They said, this is my life and I'm responsible for what happens next. That mindset separates those who rise from those who remain. The truth is, you cannot change what you don't take ownership of. If you keep saying, it's not my fault, you also say, it's not my power. Taking responsibility doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It means you're willing to own your decisions, the good, the bad, and everything in between, and use them to grow. It's about being radically honest with yourself. Where are you playing small? Where are you making excuses? Where are you waiting for someone else to give you permission to live? The moment you face those truths, you begin to reclaim your life. Most people underestimate how powerful this shift is. When you own your actions, your mindset, and your emotions, you stop being reactive and start being intentional. You stop chasing validation and start creating meaning. You move from life happens to me to life happens through me. That's when you realize you've always had the power. You just needed to stop running from it. And you finally own your story, all of it. You stop living in fear and start living in freedom. Because the moment you take responsibility for everything in your life, you gain the power to change anything in it. Life will keep whispering lessons to you until you finally decide to listen. And when you do, everything shifts. The truth is, you've always had the power. You've always had the potential. The only thing that stood in the way was the story you kept telling yourself. But today you get to write a new one. No more waiting for the perfect time. No more blaming what you can't control. No more playing small because you're afraid to fail. This is the moment you draw the line, say, enough. Enough of settling. Enough of surviving. It's time to live fully, intentionally, and powerfully. You see, life doesn't reward those who play it safe. It rewards those who take ownership, who act with courage, who dare to grow even when it's uncomfortable. You can't change your past, but you can transform its meaning. You can't control every storm,
but you can control how you steer through it. And when you stop waiting for life to get easier and start getting stronger instead, that's when you become unstoppable. So if there's one thing you take from all of this, let it be this: your life is yours. Every emotion, every experience, every choice, it all belongs to you. Keep living on repeat, or you can rise and create something extraordinary. The power is already in your hands. Don't wish you'd known it sooner. Live it now, because your time isn't someday, it's today. And the moment you decide that, there truly are no more limits.